With over 400 celebrity interviews and tons of pop culture nerdiness, Too Opinionated is a safe haven for your inner geek. Find us at meistercon.com or on YouTube under MeisterCon Pod. And please subscribe. It would really help us out. Thanks, everybody. Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Too Opinionated. I am so excited today. I've got actress Elyse Levesque with me. So welcome, Elyse.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
We've been spending like 10 minutes talking about the weather.
Yeah, we got into it.
We got into it.
We got some crazy weather going on over here in Los Angeles. Not right now.
You really do.
As you can see, it's sunny. It's beautiful. That's just all natural light right now.
I talked to a gentleman that was in LA yesterday, and he did his interview outside, and it was sunny. It looked nice. It looked like LA.
Yeah, this is like proper LA weather. Finally, this year has been rough. We've been insane amounts of rain. It's been so cold, but this is like legit LA weather today, which is nice.
I feel like if it gets down to like 50 degrees, LA starts, worrying a little bit.
Oh, for sure.
They're not ready for that.
Yeah, no. I mean, I'm Canadian, and I was even like, this is ridiculous. I don't want to go anywhere.
I didn't sign up for anything.
But I have to like turn on the heater? Like, what? What's happening?
Do they have heaters in LA?
Yeah, it's right here. It's on right now, even though it's sunny out. Even though it's sunny out, I got it on.
I can't. That's one thing I've found as I've gotten older. I can't get a comfortable temperature. I'm either as soon as I get cold, and I'll put a blanket on or whatever, and immediately I'm too
hot. Body's changing. Getting older, making it more complicated. It's only going to get worse.
I know. It started with the hair. I had that like 80s hair, the real thick feathered.
Yeah.
But I didn't appreciate it. And then one day it was like, all right, pal, I'm out of here.
It just dropped all at once. It was like later.
Yeah. No, it
takes a sharp turn.
It took about a decade to.
Okay. Yeah.
And but early on, I was like, nope. And then I just started shaving. So much easier to fool with now.
Yeah. I mean,
I kind of miss the 80s hair though.
Well, you can always get a wig. That's always a possibility.
I should start doing these podcasts in a wig. That would be hilarious.
I would support that move.
Like a different wig every episode.
Totally. It'd be part of your bit. I think that's great.
I had a starter.
Instead of the weather, you can talk about your hair.
Well, I had like a guest that was in fashion, and I said, well, how would you fix me up and stuff? And she had me with pink hair. So I was like, I don't know about that. I'm not sure about that. But not just pink hair, like pink beard. Everything's pink. It's very. And I was like, I don't know about that. Well, then we got off the interview, and the next day she had taken a picture of mine and then doctored it up. So I had like.
What did you think?
Pink.
Were you like?
It wasn't like super pink, but kind of pinkish.
Okay.
I have to admit, it did not look as bad as I thought.
Okay. Well, maybe that's an option. If we ever do this again, I really hope that you choose to do that. I want to see.
Have you ever colored your hair pink?
I haven't.
Ooh, I haven't. Okay. All right. Well, then we'll have to do it together, although mine will probably be more of a wig.
It might be more complex. I mean, my hair's pretty like red right now. That would be like a hard move. It's hard to tell probably in this light, but
you can see the red in.
Reddish brown. Auburn, I guess, is the technical term.
Auburn, I guess.
Auburn.
I like auburn hair, but I like it when it's like your hair's good because you can see the red in. Like some people have auburn, but it's more brown. But like when you turn and the light hits it, you can see the red. And I like that.
Yeah, that's what I kind of feel like.
I like that. My wife's she's half Mexican, so she's got kind of that Spanish red that kind of goes through her. I like that where you can. If you look at her one way, it's brown, but if she turns her head and the light hits it, red. And yours kind of looks like that too, I think.
I mean, it really does depend on the lighting.
Yeah.
It's sometimes it can look really red, and then sometimes it can look totally brown. It just depends on how it's.
I like it. Redheads are kind of in now.
I feel like I've been dyeing my hair red for a long time. I alternate. Sometimes it's just like brown or dark brown or black. I can't really pull off blonde.
I was going to ask you, have you tried blonde's a tough one. If you're
one.
normally darker haired, that's a
well.
tough
I'm actually like naturally what one would call a level 7 blonde, apparently, which is basically like a dirty blonde. But you know, of course, like never happy with what we're born with.
I didn't know there were levels.
Oh, there's a lot. There's a whole lot. Just
My
wait.
I was telling you about the grandkids. My granddaughter, who she's a little over 3, but she has got like her hair is so blonde it's almost white.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, oh, it
I
is.
love
It
that.
is,
That's
and
so
nobody in
beautiful.
the family has that hair.
Oh, isn't that funny?
Yeah.
All of my cousins on my mom's side, all 3 of my cousins from the same parents have platinum white hair. Born with
I
it
love it.
their whole
It's
lives.
very Game of Thrones.
Yeah, Targaryen, very House Targaryen. I know it's rare. It's rare. Something I think I heard something. I don't know if it's true, so you might want to fact check this. That like natural blondes are becoming extinct.
Really?
Yeah,
Is it the stuff we put in the food?
probably. Probably. I don't know. It's like I think because it's like a recessive gene or something. So it's I don't know how it works. I did science, but it was like
Can we get
20
blondes
years
put
ago.
on the endangered species list?
It might come down to that. It might come down to that. Yeah, we'll start genetically modifying people to have
Oh, it'll happen.
blonde hair. Oh yeah.
At
I think
some
it already
point.
is. I think it already is happening.
Oh, I do too. I do. At some point, you'll be able to actually choose. You know, be like, oh, I think I want blonde hair today. You won't have to get it colored. They'll just do something, and then it'll be blonde.
It's crazy.
I know. So at least let's start this way. You've been doing this for a while, but what got you started into acting? You know, why did you choose to go into the entertainment business?
Well, I guess in a way it sort of like chose me, if you will. I feel like that's the lamest thing I've ever said.
I tell people that about podcasting, but it doesn't have the
lamest thing I've ever said. So I'd like that stricken from the record. Thank you. No, so I was like pretty young. I started when I was 11.
Yes.
In my hometown up in Canada. I think I always gravitated toward acting, doing plays and stuff like that in school. Whenever I was given an assignment in class where it was like, you could do a presentation or you could write a poem, I would like make it into a short film and, you know, boss everybody around and like direct the thing, write the thing, direct it.
See, you would be like when I was that age, I was so shy. But I had cousins that were like that. They were like, everything has to be a presentation or a movie or whatever.
Yeah.
And they would always drag me into that. And I was just horrible.
Well, it's funny because I would say that I was shy and like I still kind of am, but there is something about when you're playing at something that isn't yourself that I feel like gave me permission to kind of open up and I would be less like self-conscious in like the make-believe world. Whereas if you were to get me to like stand in front of the class and talk as myself, terrifying. Absolutely.
Yeah, see, that makes sense to me because if you mess up when you're playing in a role, well, that's not you.
No, it's the character. It's like, well, you know, you can kind of blame it on something else. But anyway, so I was in grade 6 and my teacher, Miss Krause, was like, came up to me one day and said, there's an open call for a kids television series that's shooting in the city. And I just feel like you should go audition.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay, maybe. I don't know. And so I went home and told my mom and she was like, let's go. And then on the day, I didn't want to go. I was like nervous. I was like, I don't want to go. I don't know. I don't know. My mom was like, let's just go. Let's just go. Like, let's just see what happens. Like, nothing ventured, nothing gained.
That's good parenting.
We went and it was with this Canadian casting director named Jackie Lind, who like casts like massive stuff in Canada now. And she just sat me down and there was like hundreds of kids in this like waiting room. You came in, you didn't even have to act. All you had to do was like answer some questions. Like she would just kind of get to know you and talk to you and ask you questions. And at one point she asked me, if you could go on a date with anyone, who would it be and where would you go? And I was like, Leonardo DiCaprio, and we would go to McDonald's. And she was like, you're in. It's like, this kid's got talent. I love it. Let's go. So then after that, I made it past the first round, and then they had us actually audition. And I remember, I think after so then they put us in these like these 2-week workshops because all of these kids had never been on a set before, like maybe 2 of the like 40 kids that they chose to be a part of this repertory company. Because the way the show worked was every episode was like a short story, 2 short stories written by kids that they turned into tiny little screenplays. So they needed this group of young actors to sort of pull from every episode. So sometimes you'd just be like in the background. Sometimes you'd be the lead of the episode.
Well, that's kind of neat.
It was a really neat like learning experience. And so they gave us like a 2-week sort of training thing to learn how things would be on set, like all the like terminology, hitting your mark, lighting, how the cameras work. And then they also did a ton of like improv exercises and acting exercises. And after the first week, they made cuts. So not everyone made it on to the second week. And I remember I got this phone call and they were like, okay, so we really love her. She's not moving on to the second week, but we are going to keep her as part of the company to just like be background and stuff for the first season. And I was so upset. I was like,
sure.
I remember I got it and like, I went into my room, I closed the door, I was like sobbing. And my mom says that I like came out after 20 minutes and I was like, Mom, if I'm going to be the background, if I'm going to be, in the background, I'm going to be the best background actor they've ever seen. And then funny enough, they ended up actually calling me in for the first episode to read for one of the main parts, and I got it. That's awesome. You just never know. Like
you had the right attitude about it.
I mean, not at first.
You processed you processed it though.
Yeah.
And that's difficult for grown-ups, let alone kids, to come back from that. Sometimes we don't recover from the disappointment, but you did, and you turned it into something positive.
Yeah. And then like maybe because I felt like I had nothing to lose, like I had no expectations. And then boom, I got a lead part in the first episode they ever shot. And then it was so fun. I remember when my mom picked me up from my first day of filming, she was like, how did it go? And I looked at her in the car and I was like, Mom, I'm going to do this for the rest of my life. And she was like, why? Why do you say that? And I was like, they had all this free food, Mom. They had all this free food. I ate so much food all day long. It never stopped. There were grilled cheese sandwiches. There were breakfast burritos. There were like, that was the like.
Well, as a kid, that's what you're most concerned with.
Yeah.
You don't worry as much about any money or making a living or anything. You
totally. Well, but also too, it was so fun to go to be somewhere and to be sort of treated with respect as like, and as an adult. And when I was 11, and also I was ostracized a lot when I was younger in school and like bullied quite extremely. And so to go to a space where.
Is it because you were always filming and
but it was
dragging people into that?
I mean, maybe. Yeah, maybe they're like, this fucking chick. Sorry, I don't know if I can swear on I'm like, she's so bossy. Oh my God. I mean, I am bossy, but comes from a good place.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I was always very kind of goofy and like tall and lanky and just like didn't fit in. And when you're young, you're an easy target. If you're a little bit different. And
that's right.
And here was a space where being different was lauded, where being sort of outside the box, unique, your eccentricities were encouraged, not discouraged. And so I felt really respected and seen, and it was such a lovely experience.
Well, did you make friends while you were doing that? See, that's a big deal.
Yeah, one of my to this day best friends I met doing that show, and then she and I ended up on another kids TV series when we were 15 and 16.
Oh, wow.
So, and we're still, she's still like one of my best ones. So
hey, that's pretty good. Those lifelong friends, they're so rare.
Mm-hmm.
You got to hang on to those when.
Yep. Totally.
I'm always telling the kids that, like, hang on to those. They don't come around. You think they will, but they don't.
Yeah.
If you find somebody you're friendly with or compatible with, hang on to that. Put some time into that.
I agree.
Yeah.
Sage advice.
Yeah. I've still got my best friend from, we met the first day of kindergarten and have been best friends ever since.
I love that. That's like extra rare, I think, to have that person that you've known since you were like fresh.
We're really annoying about it too, though, because we're constantly telling people we've been friends for 50 years and stuff. I know they get tired of hearing it.
Or they're just like, man, I wish I had a friend that knew me that well from way back when.
Well, you know, I've been blessed because we've been friends for that long, but I've got, you know, half a dozen or so friends that I've known since at least middle school. You know, maybe longer, but at least middle school, and we're still close. They live in the, you know, at least close enough to drive here and stuff. And you know, it's been great, and I know how rare that is.
Yeah, it is. It is very
Have you run into anybody from those shows that's still acting?
Oh yeah, a lot of people. I mean, maybe a lot is maybe an exaggeration, but I would say the first job I ever did, which was Incredible Story Studio, there's a chunk of talent from that are working, you know, still. Like I'll be watching something and I'll be like, oh my God, there's so and so. Like I knew them when I was 11 and we did this thing where I played a piece of cheese and they like, you know.
Many acting careers have been launched.
Totally. I played the moon. I mean, I got to really, you know, sharpen my teeth on some of those roles, those meaty roles. No, a lot of them, a good chunk. I think it inspired a lot of people to pursue a career in acting, which is really cool.
I think that's really cool because obviously they were doing something right, or nobody would still be acting.
I mean, I wish that all film sets were kind of like that. It was like a summer camp. Like it would always be during the summer because they had so many kids, so they were trying not to infringe on school. And it was just a blast. It was just a really supportive, fun, you know, you get into some of these bigger film sets and not even always bigger ones, but there can be a lot of ego and stuff. And there was just something so pure about it, which is hard to come by.
Ego is awful to deal with any profession.
Yeah.
But I would not want to deal with it on a set. That would be difficult because that's a stressful environment anyway.
Totally. I don't understand it personally. I'm like, why do you need to make it difficult? Like, this is such a privilege to do this for a living. Like, it really is.
Well, you know, there's a billion people, or not a billion, but there's a lot of people out there that would trade places with you.
100%.
Acting's not easy, though. I think it's underrated because people think I could do that. No, you probably not. You probably couldn't.
Yeah, I think the people who are really good at it make it look easy. And to be that good where it looks easy takes a lot of work.
Yeah.
It doesn't just happen. I mean, there's the odd person, I think, who's just like got it. They've just got that talent.
Most of us struggle, even if you had just a line that you had to say on set, but you weren't really an actor and stuff, it'd be difficult. Most people would struggle with that.
Oh yeah, it's hard. It's not easy. I mean, it can be, but no, it's especially like if you're playing like a real character that's far from yourself, like to make that feel like real and natural and believable and not a caricature, and like doing accents and mannerisms, and you know, like what Daniel Day-Lewis does, he almost changes his physiology. Like he's so invested.
He's intense.
Oh, for sure. For sure. I hope he doesn't stay retired. I hope that he comes.
There's no way he stays
one more turn. I don't know. He's been holding out. He has,
but at some point somebody's going to bring something to him. He's going to be like, okay.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
I think he retired just because he puts so much into it. It's probably exhausting.
I think that's part of it. Like he's like, it just takes so much out of him. It's like he does like a year of prep or something crazy like that.
Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah, he's amazing. Have you ever stepped behind the camera?
I haven't. That's actually something that I want to do moving forward. Yes. I've written something with a friend of mine, and you know, getting things made is such a feat. So here's hoping that we'll be able to make that happen. And if we do, I want to shadow him in the directing side of things to sort of learn the ropes. Because you'd think like after all of these years of being on a set, I would know how to direct something. Or not.
Well, yeah, but if you've never done it.
No, it's like it's a whole other thing, I think, too, because usually when I've been there, I'm focused on what I'm doing.
That's right.
So like understanding the shot list, or like how a director sort of like micromanages the whole environment, et cetera, all of that I think would be a massive learning curve. Um, but but yeah, I think like as I'm getting older, I am more intrigued by that side of things.
You need to be on a show that lasts several years, and then they'll probably ask you to direct an episode.
Totally. I mean, I think people get that in their contracts. Like
Yeah.
a lot of actors, you know, after like 3 seasons, they'll be like, okay, next year that you get to renegotiate, usually after 3 years. And then they'll be like, okay, get to direct an episode. Woo, that'd be so intimidating. I want to do it. I want to do it, but I think that's
way to do it, because you know you'd have a ton of support.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. All right, I'm going to be rooting for you.
Thanks. might take a while. I'll get there.
So we're pleasantly surprised to see you pop into Quantum Leap.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and you had a fun episode.
It was such a fun episode. I was so pumped when I got that job, because I love Halloween first and foremost, and it was a Halloween episode, and I don't think I've ever done a Halloween episode of something before. Like
you asked me, because I told you I went to LA for Halloween, and you asked me if I noticed anything different. That's one of the things I noticed. It wasn't as festive this Halloween, because we were staying in West Hollywood, and we were hoping that it had gotten back to the way it was a few years ago, and it really hadn't. I mean, you could go to like a bar or something, there might be a little something going on, but you didn't have the people in the streets like past Halloweens you've had.
Oh, really? I mean, maybe it depends on where you go. I mean, I don't know, I've never spent Halloween in West Hollywood. I'm pretty staunch East Sider, so I'm Echo Park.
Oh yeah.
Angelino Heights is the place to go.
I've heard that. Halloween. Somebody else has told me that.
Because they have all these old Victorian houses. There's just rows and rows of these like gorgeous old Victorian houses, and the people like do them up because they're just like inherently kind of creepy.
Yeah.
So they just go like extra with it. And so kids can just go like door to door to door. But like as a general rule, I've never in all my years seen like trick-or-treaters really in my actual neighborhood, but there's little pockets where you can kind of go, like Hancock Park. I think they really get into it there. There's some like houses that get really done up, but I will say I go every year to like all of the Halloween sort of festivities.
Oh yeah.
Like that they do at like theme parks, or like in Griffith Park, they do a thing. And I was so disappointed this year.
Yeah.
Not to drag anyone, but they were like,
I know it just wasn't the same.
I was like, what happened? Like, this is like sad Halloween. I don't get it.
That's kind of how we felt with it. We were like, oh,
yeah, it was hollow. It was Halloween. It was just very bleak. It wasn't our best. It wasn't our best. But listen, we've had like the rest of the world a lot to bounce back from. So maybe
that's
next,
right. Give it time.
Yeah,
give it time.
Yeah,
give it time. But yeah, the episode Quantum Leap, awesome.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, it was
creepy,
really, really
a little
fun.
bit creepy for Quantum Leap, a little bit.
I thought so. It was super fun to do. We I'd worked with the director Chris Grismer before, so it was really fun to see him again. And and the whole ensemble was great. The leads at that show were so lovely, and
they're talented. Because you're always skeptical when they say we're gonna, go a little different direction.
Yeah.
With the reboot, but
yeah,
I thought they did a really good job with the casting.
Yeah, no, they're great. Ray's so fabulous, lovely and funny.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And then I see you're doing a Disquiet, the movie Disquiet.
Oh yeah, it came out already. Yeah. It came out early February, and that's horror as well. I do a lot. I do a lot of like horror, scary stuff. Sort of in more recent years, I think. Although I guess it's kind of been like spattered throughout my.
They had Henry VIII in it.
Johnny, Jonathan Myers, I was like, wait a second. Oh yeah. I know. I was such a big fan of the Tudors.
Oh, he's a good actor.
Back in the day, I think I watched all of the seasons. I used to have them on DVD even.
Isn't it funny going back and looking now, because so many of that cast has kind of gotten bigger.
Yeah, Henry Cavill, Superman.
Yeah, but you didn't really. Yeah, Henry. I forgot he was in it. Yeah, you didn't really know him at the time.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you could like tell. I was like, he's a babe. He's gonna do well.
Yeah, he's a good looking guy.
He's a good looking guy.
Yeah. He's probably gonna be okay.
Yeah.
Wasn't Natalie Dormer was in that one?
Yeah, right. And then she did like Game of Thrones. I mean, she's always like working on stuff. She's so great. Yeah. So I was a little like, there's only probably a handful of times where I've been like kind of intimidated to work with someone, and like that was definitely one of those scenarios, because I was such a fan of his work.
Were you the killer?
In what?
In Disquiet.
I don't know how to tell you. What? It's a spoiler alert. Why would you?
No, I have to watch it, but I'm such a chicken with horror movies, so I have to like pump myself up to watch.
I don't know that. I mean, to be totally honest, I haven't seen the whole movie. I've just seen like bits of it.
I've heard it's good.
I don't know how scary it actually is. To me, I think it's more of like a psychological thriller. At least
I could probably be okay with
on the page. Like, yeah, it's a little more.
It's more the gore than
psychological. Yes, there's not a ton of it.
Yeah, I'm probably okay.
You might be okay. It might be palatable for you.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'm such a chicken though. It's sad.
A lot of people are.
Well, you know, that's why I don't watch that many of them, because I don't want anybody else to know.
Oh, I see. You're the one like hiding under their hands.
Oh, I'm totally doing that. You know, suddenly I have something urgent on my phone, you know.
Yeah, right. Excuse yourself from the room. I just got to take this phone call. No, I love horror movies. Growing up, my mom, like from a young age, let me watch things I probably shouldn't have been watching, like The Lost Boys, The Changeling.
Oh, Lost Boys, that's a classic.
It's a great movie.
Changeling's a good one too.
Like the one, not the Angelina Jolie Changeling movie, but the one from like, I don't know if it was the 80s or early 90s.
Yeah, I think it was the 80s.
Yeah. Devil's Backbone, like Guillermo del Toro, like from a young age, she was just like, here you go.
Yeah.
And so
she was exposing you to some stuff there. Although I give her credit. Lost Boys though. That's good.
Was it good? Yeah, I haven't seen it in a while, but I would imagine it holds up.
Oh, it holds up. Yeah, because we did that before the kids were out of the house. They're all out. Mm-hmm. But we would have like a movie night. Sometimes it was like a manly movie night, if it was just the guys. Sometimes it was all of us, we just call it a movie night. But yeah, but we got to share all those great 80s and 90s movies that we kind of grew up.
Yeah, that's fun.
Pass those on. And it's fun. And yeah, it still holds up.
Good to know. Okay.
I think they're making a series now.
I think you're right. Yeah. I think I did hear about that.
Because we can't leave
it. I'm going to have to get on it.
I'll be watching.
Put me in. Somebody.
Yeah, you need to get on there. I feel
like I would like make a good vampire.
I was going to say
like I look dead. I look a little dead. So I'm so pale. I look a little dead. So I'm doing like a lot of the heavy lifting for the makeup department, at least.
You'd be a good like a Victorian vampire.
I mean, I like that. That's great. Let's pitch that to somebody.
Let's get that out there.
That'd be great. I'm so down.
It's like you've got this podcast guy on the phone wanting to talk about a Victorian vampire movie.
Like, what? Like, hey, listen, at this point, who knows where inspiration could come from?
You keep popping up over the years on like all the nerdy stuff. I know you do all this other stuff. We liked you on The Good Doctor and weren't NCIS, didn't you do one of those?
Yeah. That was recent. That was pretty recent.
But you keep doing the nerdy stuff, which I'm a big fan of, so don't change that.
So what other nerdy, like Stargate, obviously I did
obviously Stargate Universe was in our wheelhouse, and I was so disappointed that didn't get at least one more season.
Yeah, we all were. I
think we all thought cast. For sure. It was well written. It was a little bit different.
It was a great show. I actually, like, during the pandemic, had to do a podcast about the first couple episodes of Stargate, and so I went back and watched them. like 10 years later watching them, I'm like, this is great television. This is compelling.
It's a good show.
The acting is really strong. The characters are interesting. The effects hold up even. I'm like, that's like 10, 12 years ago. Now at this point, it's more than that. But it was so, I thought so well done. And I think it was just one of those silly things of like some of the fandom, like they were so attached to the SG1 and Atlantis versions, which were just stylistically very different, and Universe was very dark. And so I think there was a lot of, oh, we don't like this version. And then of course, when the show inevitably got canceled, everyone was like, wait, no, we didn't mean it.
we actually did like it. Don't take Stargate away.
Yeah. So anyway,
well, it hasn't really come back yet. I mean, they did a web series. A good friend of ours wrote for the web series for a little while, but they it's probably time now to, Star Trek went through that at one point, where you had a fall. It's time for it to come back.
It will. I don't know if they'll ever finish the story of that. It would be nice if they did, but at this point I'm like, maybe, everyone's sort of moved on too much, but because SGU never really got like a wrap up, like we're all just like floating in space and like,
maybe like, a few of you could show up on this new show.
They
finally got back.
Befell the destiny. Exactly. So
don't you hate it when a show doesn't quite wrap up?
It's so unjust. It's so unjust.
It has to be hard as an actor. It's miserable as a fan.
Yeah, I think it's miserable on both sides of it because we're as invested in that story.
Yeah, it's true.
As the fans are. And also, when you're on a show, certainly in that instance, we were all so close. It was such a family. It was such a great job. It was such a long, consistent, like schedule, and we got to do so many cool things. It was so disappointing when it didn't get to go for a third season, and we didn't get to like properly, especially a franchise that ran as long as it did. It just felt like an injustice to the whole franchise to not.
Give it time.
At least let it wrap up in a way that is like.
Because it was a couple of seasons, right? 2 seasons?
2 seasons, yeah.
See, they could have wrapped it up with a short third season or a movie. There's still time. I feel like
we're in a bit like of different times now where, it happened with Winona Earp in Canada where they weren't going to they were, I don't know, they didn't get renewed. I don't know what season it was. And then because of social media, they were able to sort of galvanize the studio or whomever and get another final season out of them.
Oh yeah. I know fans. We figured out we can actually get stuff done if we put some effort into it.
Yeah, there's a lot of power there.
I'll tell you a good Winona Earp story. So back in the early 90s, I owned a couple of comic book stores. That's when I was in college. That's how I was putting myself through school. Best time of my life.
Oh wow. Cool.
So there was this guy that would just hang out at the store all the time. And he wrote for Eclipse Comics. Eclipse, I don't think even exists anymore, but he would write, and he was just constantly hanging out there, doodling in a notepad and just talking comics all the time. Stuff. Well, that was Bo Smith, who wrote Winona Earp, and he was always talking about, I'm gonna get one of my comics made into a TV show. Well, 20 years later, he did.
Yeah, he really did, and it was very successful.
Yeah, nicest guy.
Oh, I love that.
Nicest guy.
I like it when the good guys win.
Still lives right here in the area,
That's so cool.
It's kind of nice. So you asked what other nerdy things. So you did an episode of the Orville.
I did, yeah.
Yeah. We've been lucky enough to talk to a bunch of that cast. That's talk about a show that we're still hoping to get another season. There you go.
Yeah. How many which one did I do? Did I do season 3? I think
that's what I think you did.
I think so. It was such an unusual. That's the one that's older, right? Yeah, I think that was the recent one. I think that my episode aired in the summer.
A big delay in coming out
because of COVID really messed up stuff. That was such a crazy experience because I That was my last in-person audition that I
wow.
had, was for the Orville. I had it in early March of 2020. And I actually thought I tanked it. I thought it went really bad. I remember I called someone after. I was like, I just don't think it went good. I don't. They didn't laugh at the parts and like that. And then like a couple days later, it was like the entire city is locking down. And then I got like an email from my manager being like, you're pinned for the Orville. And I was like, what? Like, how is that going to work? We're like going into like a 2-week at the time, mandatory stay at home thing. And then I just didn't hear anything, obviously, because everything got put on pause. And then November of 2020, my reps were like, hey, can you just do a slate for the Orville? Which means like, I don't know if you know what that is, but it's where you have to do them for auditions. It's where you stand in front of the camera and you say your name and your height, sometimes other information, and they kind of like pan up and down to like see your body. Yeah. And so they were like, can you just do one of those? You're still up for that job. They just don't like totally know what their schedule is. So I did it. 2 more months went by. I was in Hawaii doing Magnum PI, and I got like a text like, you booked the Orville. And I was like, oh my, like almost a year later, I got the job.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Unheard of. And it was extreme circumstances, but then we filmed it. I filmed that in March of 2021, and it didn't air until like July 2022.
Yeah.
And it's like a TV
I know, because we were waiting on it.
Crazy. Yeah.
I mean, but understood though. We understood what the issue was. And it was a great season. It's worth the wait.
Good. Yay.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
Fabulous.
You were good on Magnum PI too.
Oh, thanks. I haven't seen most of that stuff. I've seen the Orville stuff, which I was like.
So I know. See, I'm gonna go back a little further. So you did Flash Gordon, the TV show. Yeah. You did the originals. You did. Oh, you were on Smallville.
I was very small part. That was like one of my like earlier credits when I had just moved to Vancouver. I played Casey Brock. I remember the character's name.
It's a very Smallville type of name.
Yeah. And I can't remember, but I remember I had like my eyes like went like black for some reason. I had some sort of like lab. Something happened in a lab. I don't know.
Oh, that's right. Like, I remember that.
I vaguely remember.
It's been a long time because I haven't watched it since I was watching it when it was on TV.
Yeah.
But yeah. See, so you've done a bunch.
I've done things. Yeah. Turns out. Yeah.
You could totally do conventions now.
I've done them. I have done them.
I figure you had probably for Stargate.
Yeah. I did a bunch for Stargate. And I'm always down to do them. But
yeah. Oh, they're fun. They're exhausting, but they're fun.
I was supposed to do one in like April of 2020, but then obviously.
Yeah, at that time we were covering a bunch of them as press, my son and I, and we had a bunch lined up, like the whole summer lined up, just going week to week, and all of them got canceled.
Yeah.
And we've never got kind of back to that. Maybe we will. No. You know, since that time, he became a librarian. You know, he got out of college and went to work at the library and loved it. So he became
wow.
So he's he does the editing for me, but he doesn't do as much on camera.
Sure.
So I don't know. I don't know if we'll get back to that or not, but
yeah, I know some things might have like changed forever. I know. Really did a number.
So I know we got to wrap here in a minute, but I have to mention that my oldest, my daughter, loves you on Cedar Cove.
Oh yeah! Oh, right on. Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, that's her wheelhouse. It's like Hallmark, totally. Lifetime. You know, she likes the stuff that it wraps up in a good way.
Makes you feel good. Yeah.
Feel good. Yeah. You know, it's like day after Thanksgiving, she starts watching the Christmas movies. You know that.
Oh gosh, yeah. I get it. I mean, like I love a Christmas movie too. Scary horror movies, Christmas movies, my jam.
Christmas movies are nice because you know how they're going to end. You know, you don't like. It used to be everything wrapped up in a nice little bow, but we don't do that anymore.
No,
nice, those ones that actually it's going to end well, so you don't stress.
Totally. No, I know, right? Now it's all like, we kill the lead character.
Oh yeah, it's all stressful now.
It's so stressful.
You have those ambiguous endings, or it's kind of bittersweet. Mm-hmm. And you get done, and you're like, what? It's that's it.
Yeah, I know. I know. I was saying to someone the other day, like, we were watching some sort of, like 90s, 80s movies that have like big heart in them, and they kind of have this like sort of magical feeling to them and like good like life lessons. We don't make movies like that anymore. No. Like those sort of like,
I think we need to
think of the equivalent of those kinds of films and like that, like sort of talked about values and that had that sort of like whimsical magic to them. I feel like everyone's just become so jaded, or just not, that's not even maybe the fair word. Like, I think we know too much now because we're also connected through social media and the news and everything that like, for some reason, that stuff just doesn't, it just feels like inauthentic now or something. So we're like going for like the harder true stuff. But I'm like, oh, maybe there's still like a place for that. Like when you go to a movie and you escape.
Yes.
Leave and you feel good. And like,
that was I think the 80s was the best decade for that. The movies all through the 80s, early 90s. I mean, that's what you did. You go to the theater and you just escape for a couple hours.
Yeah. No, now you leave and you're like, I feel messed up.
Yeah. Yeah. You come out feeling worse than you went.
Yeah. And I mean, sometimes that's like important and great. And like, and there's some amazing filmmakers out there who are doing some really cool stuff. And like, I loved Triangle of Sadness. I don't know if you saw that one. If you saw that.
No, I haven't seen that one.
It's nominated for, I think, I mean, I loved it. But I like those kind of sort of strange European movies.
Because we're always looking for something to watch.
Okay, yeah, I think you can stream it on, I don't know if you have Hulu. I think you can stream it on Hulu. It's out on Hulu. Yeah, it's nominated for the Oscar this year.
See, I get to have all that stuff because now that I'm podcasting, I'm like research.
Yeah, write that off. Write it off.
Plus, like the entire family relies on me to watch TV.
Oh yeah.
I've got all the stuff, but they're all using it.
Oh, got you. Yeah, okay, gosh.
Which is fine, except for those times where you get kicked off of your own thing
device because somebody else is watching it. Yeah. Get it in while you can. I'm sure they're going to start putting restrictions on that.
I know it's going to change.
Yeah,
it's going to change. I'm surprised it hasn't already.
I think they're trying. I heard like Netflix is trying to like ban.
Netflix is going to try to do it. I hope they fail.
Yeah, I mean, maybe I do
too. Well, okay, so a couple of things before we wrap up. And thank you so much for coming on the show. I'm such a fan of yours. I was so excited when you agreed to come on. I was like,
oh, fabulous. Thank you.
That's a good one. I've been wanting somebody from Stargate Universe for a while because I love that show so much. And I'm like, we need to talk some. We're a nerdy show. We need somebody from.
I mean, listen, I'm sure David Blue would love to talk to you. I'm sure Elena would love to talk to you.
See, I need to hit him up again.
Yeah, they'd probably say yes. Yeah.
What better way to spend an afternoon?
Totally.
Talking to some Yahoo in West Virginia.
Oh, no. Come on. No, they'd love to. They would love to. I'm sure they would.
No. That's terrific. Yeah, it was such a good show. Love to see that one come back in some form. I know. You never know.
Yeah, you never know.
You never know. So a couple things before we wrap up. One, anything else you're working on that we can keep an eye
on? Well, there's one thing I just did, and I actually don't think I can talk about it.
Were you the killer?
Maybe. 50-50 chance I was the killer. 50-50 chance. 50-50.
That's pretty strong.
Yeah.
So is it a movie or TV show?
No, it's a scripted podcast. So it's kind of like
that.
Yeah, so it's kind of
like old time radio.
Kind of like an old time radio thing. Yeah.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah, there's some cool people doing it. So I don't even know what the plan is though for when it's coming out, and I don't think.
Oh, you got to come back when that comes out.
Announcement about it, but yeah, for sure.
Yeah, you got to come back so we can talk about that because I don't want to get you in trouble.
Oh, you'd probably really love it too. It's great. I mean, I don't want to say too much about it, but it's very like artificial intelligence, that whole world, sci-fi-esque, political. It's all of the things.
All right.
Really
all right. Yes,
so.
you must come back once that's out there where you can talk about it.
Yeah, you bet. You bet.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. Where can we find you on social media?
I'm on the IG, and I think my handle is my name. I think if
it
you
is. It is your name.
I'm there. I have Twitter. I don't really use it that much.
Yes. Well, you get on Twitter when you're mad.
Yeah, for sure. If I just want to scream into the void. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Or if I just want to like know what's going on, I just go to Twitter because it will tell you what has happened in the world.
Yes. It's good for that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But Instagram's the nice one.
I guess. I mean, I kind of think no social media is that nice.
No, we screwed it up like immediately.
Yeah.
At first it was like, oh, I could share my pictures and reconnect with people I haven't seen in a while in like 5 minutes later.
I know. Classic humans.
It's
like overcomplicating it, ruining a good thing, destroying it for the rest of us. Yeah, like most people, I definitely have like a love-hate relationship with it.
Yeah. Me too.
I can't not look at it, but I also resent it so much.
I think we all do.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. You have to come back though. This has been the best.
Yeah, you bet.
It's so nice to talk to you.
Great chatting with you. Really lovely.
That I hope so. It's so nice when you can get on and just talk about the weather.
But it really is. And that's what we did. You guys missed the whole first 10 minutes of us just talking about weather. Next time we'll really get into
director's version.
Yes. Behind the scenes. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
Well, it was
all right. Hold on 1 second. I hope you enjoyed that, Elyse Levesque. She was terrific. Such a fan of hers. Stargate Universe, she was terrific, but she's good in everything that she does. And we didn't talk about Ready or Not, which I loved her in that as a charity. So we'll talk about that next time she comes on. Thank you guys so much. I hope you enjoyed that. Please check us out on our website, meistercon.com. If you're watching, it's YouTube, MeisterCon Pod. Please subscribe. That helps us so much. We've got about 550 episodes for you to peruse. I know you'll find something you like. Thank you so much. Until next time. Bye, everybody.